Hi everyone, so this video is basically to put myself accountable that I will read these 3 books in the near future. I know. I have been in a horrible reading slump, especially when it comes to like books about maths or related to maths, especially in the past like year and a half. And I've tried very hardly to get back into things, and I'm doing a bit better. And I want to do this video so that I do give a shout out to these 3 books that I haven't really been speaking much about, but I think they're great. And 2 of them, these 2, I've started reading already, and I'm loving them so far. And I really want to read this book as well. I'm just like very, very excited for it. So I'm gonna start with the books I've started reading. So I've started the mathematical tourist snapshots of modern mathematics. I need to take these 2, sorry. I'm not gonna try to pronounce the name of the author, I'm really sorry. So I've put over there. This is quite an old book. I did found it in a second-hand shop. As you can see, it's a bit, it has been used, so it's a bit, I don't know why it has this kind of stains over there, but absolutely nothing. I am around, that's my bookmark there, I'm around page 66, and I'm enjoying it a lot, especially this last chapter I've been reading, which is about topology. That fascinates me. So I'm gonna go at the back and read the bits from the back for you, because I think they do represent quite nicely the book as I've seen so far. So you're about to embark on an unforgettable tour through a fascinating land of chaos and order, of cryptology and code breaking, of labyrinths, higher dimensions, and soaring fractal towers, with renowned science journalist, the author, as your guide. You'll visit some rather fantastic yet very real regions, including Compumania, where the search for the highest prime number yields important clues for the creation of impenetrable computer security systems. And I've read that part and it was so interesting. Analytica, where a seemingly simple problem that has baffled map makers for more than a century has recently been solved. Topologia, which is where I am at the moment, where the minimal surfaces of soap bubbles and soap films are being replicated in the construction of large tent-like domes. And this was mind-blowing for me. I had to reread whole pages just to get everything in my head properly, and then I had to actually Google things, watch some videos, see how all ties up, and it's just fascinating. Then we have the Fractal Mountains, where new ways are being found to describe natural phenomena that could not be described before, which I am so excited for. Statland, where one party can toss a coin by phone, fully confident that the other party isn't cheating. Now, I was never a huge fan of statistics and probability, so this last bit is, I'm not incredibly excited about it, but I'm still curious because I have the feeling that the way this whole book is presented, it will still make me very interested in the topic. Whether your interest is casual or professional, you emerge with renowned enthusiasm and better appreciation for the dynamic and useful world of modern mathematics. Like, I totally agree with this. It just gives you so, like, the way it's presented and the way it's explained, so much enthusiasm just comes from these pages that I'm just like blown away. So it does make me appreciate everything so much more, especially because all of the topics are so connected with the real world and how it's actually used in the real world. That is just, it gives you so much appreciation for this. Then we have 2 quotes over here from I think these two are magazines about this book. So the first one says that this book is a top-notch survey of the frontiers of contemporary mathematics. Far from being old and musty, mathematics is alive, vital and vibrant, full of interesting unanswered questions that Peterson, the author, makes accessible to non-expert but attentive readers. And the other quote says that anybody can read it with pleasure, and it will fill you with sights and sounds enough to make you want to return again and again. So, as considering what I've read so far of the book, I do agree with this quote, other than a little bit where he says that non-experts. Now, non-experts, it's quite vague, because I have the feeling every single time I read a bit of this book, my mathematical background makes it easier for me to understand. I do think it covers like very complex ideas, and it tries to explain them, and it does a very good job at explaining, but it's not for everyone. Some of the vocabulary is a bit more scientific. It's a bit more, uses a bit more like mathematical concepts and words that are not fully accessible by absolutely everyone. So I recommend it. I think it's really good, but I think you have to take it slowly if you find it a bit challenging in some of the terms used in this book. Now, as you can see, it has been used, so a bit of it is disappeared there. But I do want to show you how it starts. So first of all, this is a table of contents. Like, it looks so funny. It looks incredibly funny. Like, each bit starts with a little comic drawing, and it fits the chapter so far really well. So I want to show you the first chapter was the one, and the drawing was the one that like made me so excited. So look at this beautiful map of Mathland. This is so cool. Like, I've spent some good minutes just looking at all of these little beds and the connections and how they are arranged on the plane. And whoever this artist did a really good job with this, and I've totally loved it. So I think that's the author of the whole drawing, and oh my goodness, this is really cool, and I totally love this. It does have a lot of diagrams, a lot of explanations. It is mostly just text. Another like a really fun comic. So as you can see, it doesn't have plenty of diagrams. It's mostly just text, and sometimes I found it a bit, it's an issue of mine. See how they try to put some equations over here and expressions and like calculations. I find them very hard to read when they're written like that. For some reason, my mind understands them a bit better if they're like one under the other in a column, like down the page. I struggle sometimes, obviously this is a very basic example, but I struggle sometimes to look at them in a row. I prefer them written down the page. It just looks a bit more easier for me to understand. So that's one, but it's such a little bit that it doesn't actually count that much. Another bit that the book has is actually in the middle, which I was a bit surprised, has this lovely like colored diagrams and drawings and explanations, and a very good kind of like plasticky page that looks really nice. Like during the text you will see that they send you to look at these just to understand it better. But I found it a bit strange that they were in the middle of the book and not in the chapter while I was reading it. So at first when I saw that, I got a bit confused, like where do I have to go and look? Where's this they're speaking about? So that took a while for me to get used, but it's pretty straightforward and standard after that. So yes, as I was saying, I'm reading the topology bit with a whole idea of the bubbles and the soap bubbles and how they connect, and oh my goodness, it's so interesting. But yeah, this is what I have so far. I'm just over here, but I don't have that much to read. I know it sounds a bit, because they do have quite a lot of things at the end of the book, like the index, some extra notes and stuff like that at the end of it there, that it's not actually that long. What I do want to mention is that this book was actually, I think, was written or like published in 1988, and I was like, oh wow, it's older than I expected it to be. As far as I know, I do have an old edition. I think there's a new one, maybe in the early 2000s, that appeared with like extra notations and extra things inside that like kind of changed some of the things if something new appeared and stuff like that. So I think it is worth it to check the new edition, but because I found this in a secondhand shop, obviously I didn't know that. So, but read up to here, very interesting for the next bit. So that's one thing, and I do want to get to it pretty soon. The other book I've started, and I am enjoying it so much, is Tales of Impossibility, the 2000-year quest to solve the mathematical problems of antiquity. Sorry. Now, this was actually sent to me by Princeton, and I thank them so much. I think this is absolutely incredible. It is a wonderful book. I do like to take a look at them without the dust jacket, because I think they look really, really cool. Look at that. I know, I'm a basic person. I just like books. And I am kind of like almost in the same place as the other book. So I'm around page, oh no, I'm on page 105. So a bit more in this one than the other one. So very quickly, because this is a hardback, it does have just quotes by different authors on the back that like speak about the book, and I will read to you some of these ones, but I do want to read you the actual description of the book that we find inside the dust jacket. So the Tales of Impossibility recounts the intriguing story of the renowned problems of antiquity, four of the most famous and studied questions in the history of mathematics. First posed by the ancient Greeks, these compass and straight edge problems, squaring the circle, trisecting an angle, doubling the cube, and inscribing regular polygons in a circle, have served as ever-present muses for mathematicians for more than 2 millennia. David Richardson, I hope I'm pronouncing the author's name right, sorry if I don't, follows the trail of these problems to show that ultimately their proofs, demonstrating the impossibility of solving them using only a compass and a straight edge, depended on and resulted in the growth of mathematics. Richardson investigates how celebrated luminaries, including Euclid, Archimedes, Viette, Descartes, Newton, and Gauss, labored to understand these problems and how many major mathematical discoveries were related to their explorations. Although the problems were based in geometry, their resolutions were not, and had to wait until the 19th century when mathematicians had developed the theory of real and complex numbers, analytic geometry, algebra, and calculus. Pierre Wenzel, I'm so sorry with names, guys, a little-known mathematician, and Ferdinand von Lindemann, through his work on pi, finally determined the problems were impossible to solve. Along the way, Richardson provides entertaining anecdotes. Oh my goodness, entertaining anecdotes is not even the right words. I have been laughing out loud for like ages, rereading pages. Some bits are so incredibly funny, connected to the problems, such as how the Indiana state legislature passed a bill setting an incorrect value for pi. Absolutely hilarious, guys, like wow. And how Leonardo da Vinci made elegant contributions in his own study of these problems. So this book is absolutely insanely good. Like, I know it will sound a bit bad for me that I say I like it more than this one, but oh my goodness, it just offers so much, and I'm over the moon, and I enjoy reading bits of it from time to time, so it's incredible. I do want to mention how the book is split, because at first I was a bit confused, but then I am enjoying it so much. I am just loving every single bit of it. So we have each chapter, and it does have quite a number of chapters. There are 21 chapters, but each chapter has a little tangent close, like just after you finish the chapter, there's a tangent before you get to chapter 2. Every single bit of the tangent has something so like funny and interesting. It's just a bit of a break between the really complex, like very interesting mathematical bits, and then you get something that, as you were saying at the start here about the entertaining anecdotes and this like funny example with a bill setting an incorrect value for pi, that kind of things are in the tangents, and they are so funny. I even from time to time I stop and I reread those tangents, and I like to read them to my friends and be like, ha ha, look at this is so funny. And even if they don't know the mathematical aspect, they do understand the funny aspect, that how funny these things are, and I'm just enjoying it so much. I do have 2 little tabs over here, and I do think both of the tabs, yes, most of the tabs are the tangent bits, as I was saying. This is the first one, and oh my goodness, I had such a good laugh with this one. And the other one is at the other tangent as well. They're just so good. Now I'm gonna go a bit like this so you have a quicker idea of how the book looks like. Obviously it's about like geometrical concepts, and then it involves other bits, so you do have quite a lot of drawings like that. It's very interesting. I totally recommend it. And I do want to see if I can find like a proper, okay, so I'm gonna go over this page a bit. See how I was referring in this book that I find it a bit strange that they're written like this. This is what I like. It just makes my life a bit easier, and I see the expression and the formulas nicely on the page, and I understand it a bit better other than being written one after the other. I like them to be going down the page and be separate from the text. So it's a bit of an issue of mine, but it just makes it a bit more easier for me to understand the theory that we're speaking about. So this is how it goes. This is just the start. It's very interesting and captivating. So I am over the moon for owning this book, and I'm very excited. So I hope, see, I do have up until here, because these bits at the end are like extra notes, so I do have quite a lot still to catch up on. But oh my goodness, I love this so much, and I am so incredibly happy I have the opportunity to read it. And oh my goodness, you have to check it out. I'm kind of gonna read two random, or let's go through a couple of quotes on the back, and I'm gonna go with in the middle over here because I do like the author of Math with Bad Drawings, so I'm gonna go with his quote first because I like him a bit more. Sorry for that. So, Tales of Impossibility is the story of a mathematical treasure hunt. Agree. And it's a treasure chest in its own right. Oh my goodness, totally agree so far. Inside are nifty proofs, historical surprises, tasty miscellany, and most of all, the rich mathematical narrative of a quest that has consumed geniuses and eccentrics alike. This is the history of math's greatest tease, and it is immensely satisfying. I cannot agree more. You do get proofs and historical bits. I do think, again, a bit is like the other book. I don't think this book is fully for everyone. I think you have to have a bit of a background on some like basic concepts from geometry and algebra to properly understand some of the things explained here. The historical surprises are, again, awesome. The extra bits they get in the tangents are like just so good. And yes, it is so incredibly satisfying. Oh my goodness, like so incredibly satisfying. So these are the two books I'm in the middle of, and I really want to continue reading. And then, I know I have been speaking for a while, but I have one more book to speak about, and this is The Doctrine of Triangles, A History of Modern Trigonometry, which I was like, wow. Again, this looks beautiful under the dust jacket. It's another book from Princeton University Press, and it has been sent to me by them, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. The whole idea fascinates me, so I'm gonna again follow the same idea as the last one, but unfortunately this one I haven't started anything yet, but it still fascinates me. So The Doctrine of Triangles offers an interdisciplinary history of trigonometry that spans 4 centuries, starting in 1550 and concluding in the 1900s. Oh, I can't pronounce the name of the author. I am so sorry. The author tells the story of trigonometry as it evolved from an instrument for understanding the heavens to a practical tool used in fields such as surveying and navigation. This already, just this sentence, made me so excited. In Europe, China, and America, trigonometry aided and was itself transformed by concurrent mathematical revolutions, as well as the rise of science and technology. Following its use in mid-16th century Europe as the foot of the ladder to the stars and the mathematical helpmate of astronomy, trigonometry became a ubiquitous, that's a fancy word for me, tool for modeling various phenomena, including animal populations and sound waves. Wow. Okay, this just gave it an extra point already. In the late 16th century, trigonometry increasingly entered the physical world through the practical disciplines, and its societal reach expanded with the invention of logarithms. Yay! Calculus shifted mathematical reasoning from geometric to algebraic patterns of thought, and trigonometry's participation in this new mathematical analysis grew, encouraging such innovations as complex numbers and non-Euclidean geometry. Meanwhile, in China, trigonometry was evolving rapidly too, sometimes merging with indigenous forms of knowledge and with Western discoveries. In the 19th century, trigonometry became even more integral to science and industry as a fundamental part of the science and engineering toolbox, and a staple subject in high school classrooms. Very staple in high school classrooms. A masterful combination of scholarly rigor and compelling narrative, the Doctrine of Triangles brings trigonometry's rich historical past full circle into the modern era. And we have a picture of the author. Great. So the author is Dean of the Faculty of Natural and Applied Sciences at Trinity Western University and a historian of mathematics and astronomy. Great. So very interesting. And I had a quick look in the book, but obviously, as I said before, I haven't started it yet. So the contents are split like this. We do have specific chapters that seem to follow a historical as well as a topical kind of focus, because I do have over here like European trigonometry comes of age, logarithms, and then we have calculus on the other side. We have a China, Europe after Euler. So sounds interesting. Let's go through the first chapter. It does follow again, it's trigonometry. You have to see this kind of drawings. If you get to a trigonometry book and it doesn't have these drawings like this one, then something is a bit strange. It looks incredibly interesting. And again, one of my issues with books is like, oh, we have everything one under the other, so it's so easy to see the information and to understand everything if you look down the page. I do find this very like satisfying. Yeah, as expected, we've got a lot of things. It does just by the first look on the page, it has a more mathematical feel than the other books, and I appreciate that. I think I will enjoy this a lot. So kind of went through a couple of pages already. It fascinates me. Trigonometry in general fascinates me anyway. So just finding out more about the evolution and its applications in our society nowadays, I'm over the moon for this. So I'm incredibly excited for this book. So I hope I will start this book very soon. It does sound incredibly interesting, and I will totally read this. I need to finish this lovely one and this one as well. So out of my excitement, I think this is the one that is like top priority for me at the moment. Obviously, I want to continue this one, but I will take it a bit slower, and then I have to start this as soon as possible. So yeah, if you've read any of these books, I know that this one is a new release. It was released this year, and I think it was maybe June or July, I think. I'm not 100% sure right now, but it was released in 2021. This, I have the feeling, was in 2019. Yes, this was in 2019. So it's a bit obvious why I'm a bit more drawn to these two books. But this one is also incredibly interesting, so I'm not putting it aside. But yeah, so if any of these books interest you, just let me know in the comments down below. If you've read any of them, also let me know, because I would love to know what you think about them. Also, if you plan to read any of them because of my half an hour random excitement over these ones, let me know as well, because I would love to know. And yeah, I will speak to you soon. Have a lovely week and enjoy. Bye.